This video is for the worksheets that are due for Chapter 13 in regards to Bud Not Buddy. If you notice, I have a little guest today, so she'll be joining us as we do the worksheet. Now, if you look at the top of the page, it says Bud Not Buddy Chapters 13 through 14. Ignore that, it is only for Chapter 13. Once again, because of all this craziness, we have to do a little bit of give and take. It should say at the top, characterization and point of view, character study. Taking inventory. When you take inventory, you see what you have and how much of it you have. Complete the diagram below to show what this character possesses or has. Now, the name of the character is going to be Bud, our main character for the book. Under personality traits are the way a person is. Are they angry all the time? Are they curious? Are they wise? What kind of person is Bud? So you need to list at least 3 personality traits that Bud possesses based on the book. Then, physical objects. These are physical objects that actually have meaning to Bud. For example, I will give you one, the flyer. The flyer has a lot of meaning for Bud because it's what gives him the idea that his father might be Hermione Callaway. It gives him the name of Hermione Callaway and shows that he might be in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Support system, friends, family. Who are the people that surround Bud? Once again, I'll give you an example. Bugs. Bugs was Bud's friend. He is the one that also gave Bud the idea that, hey, he doesn't have to stick in Flint. He can go somewhere else. The enemies, the people who oppose, my favorite part. And we can know one of the biggest enemies is, if you're thinking about it, Todd Amos, the boy who sticks pencils up people's noses. So come up with, for each category, make sure to come up with at least 2 more traits that Bud possesses. So now let's look at comfort zone. Think about what the character likes to do and where he or she likes to be. And of course, we're talking about Bud. In what kind of situations in these chapters does the character feel comfortable or safe? I want you to focus on chapter 13. In this chapter, when is a time or when is a scene? When does Bud feel safe in this chapter? Then you need to show a quotation that shows this. Choose a sentence from chapter 13 that shows how you came up with this is why Bud feels safe. Number 2, what events in these chapters force the character out of his or her comfort zone? Think about what Bud is having to face. Think about how this makes him feel uncomfortable or upset, or just it's not a good situation for him personally. How do these events do this? Think about how he is out of his comfort zone. Think about how he's in a distressing situation, and then how did that event show that? Now we're on Bud Not Buddy. Plot and structure, all in order. The events of most novels are written in chronological order. This means they are described in the same order as how they are described in the world of the novel. For this activity, think about the order of the events described in the novel. In other words, do the events go entirely in chronological order? This happened first, this happened second, this happened third. Mostly in chronological order. Now, that's where your flashbacks come in. For instance, most things happen first, second, third. However, if they have a flashback, for instance, remembering a past event, that's when you have mostly in chronological order. Or not in chronological order at all. Maybe this happened 25 years ago, and then this happened next week, and this happened 10 years ago. It's just all over the place. Then number 2, look at your answer to number 1. Why do you think the author chose to order the events of the novel in this way? Please don't put it just makes sense. Explain. If you think it makes sense that way, explain why that makes sense. Why did this type of order make sense for the novel. So you see, all goes together. I would like complete sentences for your answer. Don't just write a word or two. I want a complete sentence explaining your answer. Number 3, how would the novel have been changed if the author had put the events out of order chronologically? Or if the events are already presented that way, how would the book have changed if the events had been given in chronological order? Give 2 specific examples of how this would have changed the book. So the first part of the question is, how would the novel have changed if the author had put the events out of order chronologically? In other words, how do books change when you do not have things, this happened first, this happened second, this happened third, and so on? Then give me an example of how this would have changed the book. I'm going to help you with this one because this is a little bit hard to understand. I'm going to give you an example of my own, and then I'd like you to create another example on your own. For example, if we knew ahead of time that Herman was going to deny being Bud's father, we wouldn't have been upset at his attitude. We would have been like, oh, I already knew that was going to happen. I don't care. But because we did not know that Herman was going to deny being Bud's father, we were upset. We were like, oh no, poor Bud. Now what's he going to do? So by having it in chronological order in that way, we didn't know Herman's reaction ahead of time, and therefore we had a much more emotional response to that. Now I want you to take chapter 13 and come up with another example of how this would have changed the book and how this would have affected our reactions to the book. Remember, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me or get onto LiveGrade. Also, you can check out the other videos I have on the YouTube channel, trying to do this as quickly but also as correctly as possible. There will probably be mistakes as I go along, but please just be patient. So, have a good week. Keep in touch. I will be trying to post more as we go along. And Zelda says bye too. Thank you.